Alright mate, so a bit of a market review here, coming into the end of the quarter. Let's go to the 3-month chart here. We can see this. I mean, it's a crazy chart really, to be honest. You know, the fact that we've come right back up and we're actually flipping green here now, and we have formed a range. So you always hear me say it's not good to buy in the center point of the range, and we are sitting right in the center point of the range. I would have preferred, you know, to get a little bit of a wick down here before this flip green, but it was just too strong off the open. What did I say there? Yeah, 2 days until the end of the month, end of the quarter. You know, at this point, you have to think this is a very strong close so far. You know, we are closing above this yellow 9 EMA. You can see here when we closed above the yellow 9 EMA here, there was a dip, right? We did dip down to 50% of the body of the candle roughly, and then pushed higher again. So for example, monthly chart, you know, what if a new month we dip down into the middle of the body again, something like that. It doesn't have to go right down there, and then flip green again. Now we are also closing above this previous candle. Well, it looks like that. There's 2 days left. You know, that's bullish, closing above the previous candle. Like you can see here, when you're closing above the previous candle, you know, the uptrend continues. So at this point, you know, you have to think at some point Bitcoin is going higher. And as mentioned, you know, on a new month, for example, if we do dip down somewhere about there, you want to see price hold up above the red 200 moving average. So if there is a dip down, you want to see this area hold. Well, you can see it's support, resistance. So we've broken out of that. So there might be, it's definitely not a guarantee, but on a new month there might be some sort of back and fill, retest support, you know, before going again. Because this is quite a big move here. You can see the length of this move. Bitcoin has now bounced 28%. So I don't really have too much to say about Bitcoin here. You know, as long as it's green on this 2-week candle, we can have a bullish bias. Maybe we'll create a second candle like we did back here. You know, when this closed up pretty strong, the next one continued higher. Are we going to get something like that? My only issue is we didn't get any wick down at all, really. There is a wick there. If I move this, there is a little wick, so not too bad. So the other day, one of my alarms went off, and it said, if we are in a bear market, this is the area you want to be shorting. Okay, so you can see here we've pushed up above the moving averages. We're forming a small narrowed bodied candle at this point in time. There's still 10 days left, or whatever there is left, 12 days. So if you remember here, when we tapped out and we dropped, price pushed back up above the moving averages and formed a kind of a small narrowed bodied bar before rolling over into that COVID crash. Just the way it came back up above the moving averages and then kind of failed and dropped down again. It's interesting, but this area would be the area where something similar would happen when you break up above the moving averages, but then it fails to hold above the moving averages and drop. Now, I'm not saying that's happening yet. This is still green. If it stays green, then we don't have to worry about any market crashes. I just want to point out again, see the way this is bounced up above the moving averages? Well, if you're in a true bear market, this is where price can start to fail, because when you bounce back up above the moving averages, it rejects, and the pullback brings you back underneath the moving averages. You know, it happened here, it happened here, it happened here, it happened here, it also happened here. So these are all in the bear markets. Once you drop down below it, well, obviously there's a crash there, but every time that price got above the moving averages, it rejected and dropped back below it. So we have a situation here where we have pushed up now and we're above the moving averages, and there is kind of a small narrow-bodied candle here. Nothing to be too concerned about at this point in time, but I'm just pointing it out that we are now in that area, in that position where markets like to fail. They've sucked people back in. We're above the moving averages, and then it likes to drop back below it. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it's something that I'm keeping in mind and keeping an eye on. I do think that there should be some higher prices.